Hello everyone, my name is Ari, and I'm going to tell you about my brother Ben. He's letting me tell you guys all about him today. He would tell you all about him, but he's letting me do it today. The title of this presentation is Giving Ben a Voice, Building Adaptive Tech with Love, AI, and 2 Buttons. Ben was born in 1996, and he's the youngest of 4 boys. All my brothers, including me, would unapologetically say every time that Ben is our favorite brother. And here's a few interesting facts about Ben that you guys should know. His favorite color is red, as you could probably tell. Spider-Man is his favorite superhero. He really likes chocolate ice cream. His favorite kind of music is metal music. His current favorite song is Down with the Sickness by Disturbed. He likes to watch shows and movies. Some of his favorites are Dragon Ball Z, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and the original Pokemon series. I wasn't going to mention this, but I told Ben I would today. He hates documentaries, so I'm just letting you know. Doesn't like them one bit. Ben also loves going outside when it's nice out. He likes to go to our beach down the road, or we go to Rocky Point. If you guys are familiar, Rocky Point has a beautiful, accessible park. We go to Roger Williams Zoo. Ben likes to check out elephants and the giraffes. Ben is also a New England Patriots fan. He doesn't like the Red Sox. He roots for the Yankees, all right? And you know, we have fights about that. So one really important thing that you guys should know about Ben is that he loves to laugh.
There's nothing greater than making Benny laugh. 5, 4.
Oh, it's Mr. Burns.
So this is the music that our house is filled with, and it's amazing. Ben loves funny shows and movies. Some of his favorites are The Simpsons, Futurama, Family Guy, and he's a big Adam Sandler and Seth Rogen film. He likes their films. Ben loves to play video games. Growing up, you could usually find Ben in front of the TV playing games. He loves sports games like baseball, NFL, stuff like that. And he is addicted to winning. Who isn't? But he is super competitive, and it's amazing. Other games he likes open world games. So if you're familiar with like Grand Theft Auto or some of the Spider-Man games, the way he plays them says a lot about who he is, because he has never been interested in like the missions or the objectives. He loved to just walk around and explore. Makes a lot of sense, right? He liked to wander, experiment, and just see what was possible inside of those worlds. So we'd spend hours playing these games. In general, Ben, you're a delight to be around. He has a magnetic personality, pulls people in. And if you'd ask him to describe himself, I'm sure, Ben, you let us know if you agree. Right means yes, left means no. He'd use a word, and it is amazing. So he would describe himself as amazing, yeah. And he's right, Ben is amazing. And the device you're seeing here is a part of the custom application that we built for him, which we'll get into shortly. But we're going to go over a few other things. Ben also has a disability. For most of his life, it went undiagnosed. It was simply labeled as an unspecified form of leukodystrophy. But last year, we finally got an official diagnosis. The condition is called TUB4A-related leukodystrophy, more specifically HABC, or hypomyelination with atrophy to the basal ganglia and cerebellum, and it is progressive. Essentially, the condition affects the myelin sheath, which is the insulation for the brain's wiring, if you're not familiar. And without that insulation, the brain can't send signals properly to the rest of the body, and it affects just about everything. When Ben was a toddler, with a lot of therapy, he learned how to walk and talk. However, by the time he was about 7 years old, he was using a wheelchair full-time. By his teens, he was using sign language mostly because his mouth couldn't form words anymore. We just couldn't understand him. Because this condition was still unknown, we had always held on to hope that it would stop progressing, that maybe he would just kind of stabilize. We really hoped that he'd continue to be able to use communication devices and play his favorite video games, but unfortunately, that's not how it went. And before Ben lost the ability to use his hands, many of you are going to be familiar with this, he did use a Tobii Dynavox. Aside from sign language, he used that. But he only used it at school. He didn't like using it at home. This is the only time I think I've ever seen him use it at home. And it was difficult for him to use. He mostly relied on sign language and the family anticipating his wants and needs. And that's just very common from what I hear. We also attempted eye tracking technology. So this is using one of the eye gaze systems. Unfortunately, Ben has eye instability and low vision, which makes eye tracking like borderline impossible for him. And it was just more frustrating for him to use than anything else. There are some others like head tracking and facial gesture tracking, more recent. And these don't work well either because he does not have that level of control of those muscles due to his condition. Ben was simply losing ground. Once he was out of school, many of the services and resources had went away. A lot of support is tied to pediatrics and education, and when that ends, people tend to fall through the cracks, and Ben was no exception. There was also another reality that many of us don't address, but I alluded to it earlier, right? Ben has never really been interested in traditional communication-focused tools, and amid losing all of his abilities, who could blame him for not wanting to try a system that costs thousands of dollars that would inevitably let him down because his body is failing him? And this is a simple reality for Ben, and we're pretty sure hundreds, if not thousands of others, based on people have reached out to us. A year and a half later from that video you just saw, with Ben struggling to use that remote, he could no longer hold the remote anymore. The only way he could communicate was by turning his head left and right, which, as I talked about earlier, that's how Ben talks to us shorthand without his device. Fast forward to the pandemic, and just a little bit of a warning, this might be hard to see for some people. Ben was at his worst. He was severely underweight. He was having seizures. He could no longer eat safely, and it was a very scary time for our family. During Ben's high school years, I had been living in Las Vegas with my wife, Nancy. Nancy's up here. Sorry to introduce her. Here's Nancy. Nancy works as a respiratory therapist, and when COVID hit, she made a decision to start traveling for COVID response. Out of all places, she found a contract just a few hours away from Ben. What are the chances? And that changed everything. We sold our house in Vegas. We got rid of all of our stuff, and we decided to travel indefinitely. You guys see that little car right there? We still have that car, and that pulled that thing around the country, across the country. It was amazing. But we came to New England, and when we arrived, we immediately took action. We started advocating for Ben, helping out with the family. We pushed for his care. We took him to appointments. We did physical therapy with him. I was there all the time, just getting him moving again. Ben did eventually get a feeding tube, and that feeding tube saved his life. Slowly, we watched Ben start to turn around, and he got healthy enough for us to take him on trips, to do more things with him, things that he enjoyed. He was happier, and we were happy to be with him. And it became obvious that our place in the world was right here with Ben. Now, I put this up here because this is an inside joke. Ben hates fishing. So we went fishing, and I was like, this is going to be great. So things that he enjoyed, we enjoyed it. Ben tried it. Oh, yeah, he definitely did. So we bought a house nearby. It's not too far from here. And we renovated it for accessibility. And this is a great clip of him coming into the house for the first time. He's seeing the house for the first time. We got a shower chair. We got a little bag for him. We got him up this ramp we bought. It worked really well. Ben, are you excited? Ben is going to see the new bathroom, his new room, the big-ass TV, which is right around this corner, which he hasn't seen yet. Tell everyone how excited you are. Show everyone the excited face. Do it. More excited. More. Okay, less. You're going to hurt yourself. So at first, Ben stayed with us just on weekends, right? And very quickly, he decided he did not want to leave. And now he lives with us full-time, and Nancy and I are his full-time caregivers. Our home, it became something more than just a place to live. It became a place that encouraged, and still encourages, communication, independence, and engagement. And that big guy right there is my dad. He still comes over, and we're going to talk about that. So my dad, he played a huge role in this, and it got us really thinking about communication. He came up with a really great idea with Ben. He started coming over a few times per week and just doing spelling and reading stuff with Ben. He used flashcards. My dad's a teacher, by the way, so it's not, yeah. They made up silly stories, and he took still frames from Ben's favorite shows, all the naughty ones, with captions underneath to read with him. And it reconnected Ben with language and spelling and words. And to this day, my dad still comes over a few times per week to read with Ben. It is the most adorable thing ever. Them just laughing and hanging out, just like you see here. Yeah. And if you can't tell, that's actually South Park. So he'll read South Park to him, and it's so funny. So meanwhile, during this time, Nancy and I focused on just conversational work. We would sit with Ben, practice phrases, and type sentences on his tablet to read together, just to really push that aspect. And we didn't really know what was going to happen next, but we were laying a groundwork for everything that would come later without really knowing it. So this is just a clip of me. We would normally type stuff out to him before he had his device, read to him, he'd laugh, or we'd do silly things. And yeah, it was a really fun, engaging way to do stuff with Ben. We had to do everything for Ben still, right? Something important had shifted, however. We were giving him way more choices than what he was used to. Every day, we were asking dozens and dozens of questions to figure out just simple things, right? Like what he wanted to watch, what he wanted to do, even the clothes he wanted to wear, right? Things that we take for granted. We wanted to give Ben a lot of options and choices. And we only had yes or no to work with, and that meant probably hundreds of questions per day. It worked, but it was exhausting, and it showed us something really clear. Ben did not need more questions, right? He needed access. His head turns were reliable. He could say yes and no, and that got me thinking, right? If he could turn his head with intention, what if those same movements could act like buttons? Now, this in general isn't groundbreaking, right? Like, we know that you can click buttons with your head. There are head buttons out there, but it was a brand new concept for us and for Ben. And that thought is what started everything that followed. So I did some research, and we connected with the Speak Your Mind Foundation. Now, if you're not familiar with the Speak Your Mind Foundation, they're a small nonprofit out of Massachusetts that help families like ours with, switches and software and things like that. And they helped us find the right switches for Ben. And they also developed a simple starter software for us to try. And for the first time in years, Ben could independently access a phrase board by simply turning his head. And I'll let this play, and I'll describe something here afterward.
Help me.
What do you need help with, man?
So I don't know if you heard that, but it said "F you" on there. So that was what motivated Ben just to tell me off, and that was like a game we played a lot. It was fantastic. Still to this day. Good times, right, Ben? Yeah, great. So we expanded those 4 buttons, right, those 4 phrases, into a 3x3 grid with 9 phrases. And then we built a board with 9 categories and 64 phrases, right? We're getting somewhere. Ben enjoyed it, but mainly for one reason, as you can tell, one reason only. He used it to play that, but also his favorite quotes from his favorite TV shows. That's something I added to keep it engaging. And it worked, but beyond that, he didn't really use the board the way we had hoped. And that reflected a pattern that we had seen with every other AAC system that we have ever tried. We both wanted more. It needed to be something that gave him freedom, not something that boxed him in. And other apps do exist, and they do exist with some of what Ben might have wanted to do, but I wanted to build him something that he wanted to do exactly. So around this time, I started learning about AI tools, especially the large language models that could write code. If you're not familiar, AI can write code, and it's amazing what it can do, and we'll show you. I'm not a programmer, right? So I wondered, could I use AI to build that level of access that Ben wants? Can I build something that Ben could choose his own TV shows and movies with just 2 buttons? And that's kind of what I asked ChatGPT. Very simply, using this type of software that he was used to from the Speak Your Mind Foundation, can we turn this into something that's like a TV movie selector, right? So it spat out examples, options, and then actual code for what I could use. And I had no idea what to do with that code at first, but I kept asking questions. ChatGPT walked me through everything. What software to install, how to test, how to fix the errors. It lowered every barrier. And I didn't need to know how to write a single line of programming language. And within about 1 week, seriously, just 1 week, I had this prototype. Okay, so using Python, I coded this one is a 9-button interface where Ben can use his 2 buttons. So he has a scan and select button, and he can go through on the new interface and select his TV shows now. I'm new to this, I don't program this stuff, so this is me just messing around. Okay, hit that one. Hit that one. Okay, watch, what's gonna pop up now? Let's see. Oh, what is it? What is it? Is it Spider-Man? Yep. So Spider-Man's on it. Once that first tool worked, and I did not want to stop, it was kind of addicting. I realized that I did not have to wait for anyone to develop something for us. I could develop tools with AI-generated code myself. It's faster, easier, and cheaper, and more effective than any system we had ever come across. Don't have to wait for insurance. Don't have to worry about spending all that money. Now, before I get into what I built, I just want to start with just something brief. These are the tools that I referenced. So this is ChatGPT, and that's the code it spits out. And it looks like maybe nothing to you guys, and that's okay. When I first started the process, it looked like whatever to me too. And I had no idea what tools I needed to make this stuff work. But I simply took this code, and I put it into a text file, and then I renamed it, threw it on my desktop, and then I would run it from my desktop. And it obviously worked well enough for me to give him this first level of independence. But for me to build something bigger, I had to start doing this with like a proper setup. So I simply asked ChatGPT about that kind of proper setup, and it gave me a path forward. It taught me about Visual Studio Code, which is a professional code editing software, free from Microsoft. And with that, I do use a subscription for Copilot, which is AI integration, and it's pretty amazing. There are other setups, and this is simply what I use. And this will rewrite the code. It will refactor the code for me. It'll put everything into the proper files and folders and allow me to preview it directly into the code editor. And this new workflow has dramatically accelerated the way I build Ben's apps. And thanks to recent advances in AI, that first thing I made for him took me about a week. It would only take me a couple of hours now. So it's pretty insane what this thing can do. Okay, so I could go on and on about that stuff and how I built each and every individual application, but that would probably take hours. So instead, I'm going to give you a quick overview of what I built in just the past year. All right, so this is Ben's software. In this hub, Ben can access an emergency alert button to get our attention quickly. He can access a settings menu that lets him control basic computer settings. He can also access a keyboard. The keyboard is robust as predictive text, and it learns his most used words and phrases.
Hello, how are you?
The keyboard has options to change colors, themes, and voices so he can see and hear things the way that works best for him. And right now he's using a green keyboard with red highlights. He picked that. He can access all, and I mean all, his favorite shows and movies on any streaming platform. Everything is simply organized through a shared spreadsheet that Nancy and I can edit and add to at any time. The links load directly into his software, and Ben can scan through hundreds of titles to get what he wants and control the playback. When he's done, he can always return to the hub, where he can get a phrase board and access Google and all these others. He can get the weather, the time.
Okay, Google. What time is it?
And he can even tell Google to fart for him.
Okay, Google. Give me a fart. Benny's baseball.
And of course, the most important thing Ben was waiting for is the games. So one of the first big game projects was a baseball game I made for his birthday. And it's all based on scan and select. It's not complicated, it doesn't rely on reflexes, and none of his games do. It has ball and player animations, music options, multiple color choices for teams. It has a season mode, and if he wins enough, he can eventually play in the game's World Series. We also bought Ben asked for this. We collaborated on all this. We made a bowling game for him. He wanted one. It has physics and sound effects. It can be played with two head switches that Ben uses, or we can bowl cooperatively using a touch screen or mouse inputs, as you see here. All of the games are built to have that available in it too, so we can play with him. He can change the alley themes and the ball color to make it more interesting, more fun to look at, or just easier to see.
Benny's bagel.
And then this is an important one. Nancy created this Peggle-style game for him, and that's important. Nancy isn't technical at all, and even she was able to make an accessible game that's really fun to play. And that's ultimately the point. Just about anyone can build with AI these days. And we added a level editor for this game, so we can build custom campaigns for Ben to play. We can change the size of the pegs, the blocks, make the game challenging or easy. And that level of customization is important, so we can simply adapt and change how things work to accommodate Ben and his ongoing needs. This game is fun.
Exit game, concentration, single player.
Ben also has memory games. He loves memory games. This one is filled with his favorite cartoon characters with sound bites. He can play it solo or cooperatively or in competitive mode, which is a blast. He's very competitive. He gets very mad when we win. When he finds a match, he hears a funny line that always makes us laugh.
Look at me, man. Now I drive the school bus.
We also have a bunch of other games, but the next one is a mini golf game. And this game also has a level editor. It looks like Atari or something, but it'll get better. But this means we can create games for him, like all the time, right? Stuff that he wants to try, new challenges, and that's really what this is about, is just creating stuff that Ben used to be able to do, just bringing it back into his life and having a lot of fun with him playing these games. So the other one is Ben loves trivia. Is this gonna play? Oh, don't pause, here we go. Ben loves trivia. We made a trivia game for him, which is gonna go into next. We made a trivia game that has all of his favorite topics with thousands of questions, thousands, I'm telling you. And we just took them for ChatGPT, put them in there. Ben has a blast playing this trivia game. Sometimes we'll go in there and he's just going at it. And it's great, it's fantastic. He also has some word games and some other stuff. So before I get into this one, this is I'm gonna talk over this for a sec. I built this web search app for him. It's not too long ago, and this actually allows him to access YouTube videos and Google images. And it uses his familiar keyboard layout. We can get into that a little later. It's not complicated. There's no tiny text on websites. The search results open in a slideshow mode, so he can simply scan through the slideshow and just see what he wants. So we're gonna play one of the videos. We also make a bunch of social media, so one of the videos is gonna play, and you guys can take a glimpse at what we do with Ben.
What are some things on your bucket list that you want to do?
I would like to see Jeff Dunham perform and meet Tobey Maguire.
Who's your favorite Jeff Dunham character?
Walter, because he's hilarious.
And recently, one of the most important additions has been a messaging app that connects through Discord. This lets Ben send messages at his own pace to the people he loves for the very first time. And Ben has never sent a text message in his life.
Reactions. Thumbs up.
And that was something I had dreamed about for years. And AI allowed me to make that a reality.
Reacted. Beam and Benny reacted, laughing face. DM from Beam and Benny, haha. Ari reacted, thumbs up.
So that's most of the software right now. And I'll never forget the day my older brother sent me a message that said, texting Benny, never would have dreamed that you did that, bro. I'm tearing up thinking about it. I always get emotional. Yeah, so that it always wrecks me. This is the whole point right here, was to not just give him access and features, but to reconnect him, And this has been incredible. While we focused on creating games, tools and various entertainment options, we're obviously using this as a communication tool for Ben. And Ben has never really been motivated by using a keyboard, but since creating this, he's been more willing to type to us, and we practice daily with him. And he's been doing great. The predictive text feature has been very helpful, and you'll notice the keyboard looks a little different in each video. That's because we're always updating it and giving it more improvements. And here's a little example of one of the recent things Ben has said to Nancy.
Nancy, take off my shirt.
Said, Nancy, take off my shirt.
Wow, you want me to take off your shirt?
Not even a please. Not even a please. No, but this is amazing. And the other thing that was really incredible is that Ben has had a lot of firsts with this software, and he was even able to connect with someone who has the exact same condition that he has. There's less than 300 people worldwide with this diagnosis, and we found someone not too far away through social media. And then even met each other last month. They flew up to our house, and it was incredible. It was great. It was one of the best experiences ever. So with AI helping us write the code, we can build exactly what Ben needs when he needs it. If we notice he's struggling with a visual layout, we change it. If he wants a new game, we start designing one. If there's a specific show or function he wants easier access to, we build it. AI is leveling up the playing field in every way, and we want to raise awareness for this specific use case for it. Now, understand, this software is not a polished product, and that's not what it's meant to be. It's supposed to be an evolving solution that we can adapt easily over time for Ben's ongoing needs. His predictive text feature on his keyboard will keep getting improvements to enable him to type faster. His show and phrase boards will keep getting updated to reflect his interests. We'll keep adding games and level editors so we can continue giving him new challenges and content. And in general, we're constantly brainstorming new ideas to improve the system. Another thing, we do a lot of stuff on social media, and we just felt like we needed to share the love. So everything that we make goes on GitHub. It is free and open source. We figured we did the groundwork, so we want to share that and make sure everyone has access. I heard one clap, I think, so thank you. I wasn't asking. No, and over the past year or so, as we said, we started sharing more of this journey on social media. A few of our videos went viral. People from all over the world reached out to us to tell us their stories and ask us how they can install and access Ben's program. And yeah, the application lives online, it's on GitHub, but it's not really plug and play, right? It's a program. And I realized that most people are not interested or don't have the time to learn how to navigate GitHub or use AI to develop their own solutions. So that led to the next thing. We made a web app. So we took the core ideas for Ben's system and turned them into a free web app that anyone can use or try. This web app can be used with 1 or 2 buttons. Everything uses text-to-speech. The visuals can be modified. You could change the voices. It has many of the same quality of life options we built for Ben. It includes the keyboard with predictive text features, all the theme options and voice controls and scanning preferences. It also has a brand new phrase board that I made specifically for this web app. It has a ton of options for customization. You can build your own phrase boards. It uses open symbols directly in the system, so it'll pull images immediately. You can also add your own images from anywhere. It's easy to edit. It uses simple spreadsheets that you can save on your computer or directly on your browser. I also made this to be a media board too, so you can use it to select shows, movies, videos, etc. It recognizes YouTube links, so it knows when you put a link in there, it'll play a video directly in it. It also has a built-in YouTube search function, so just like Ben's search function, it has a YouTube search function using the same keyboard layout. It also has many of the same games we made for Ben. So this app is focused on games and entertainment, just like Ben's system, but we added communication tools for ease of access. And I would never say this is a perfect solution, because it's not. It's just a starting point. And since people asked, we figured it would be the best option for us to put it online for people. Since we have the power of AI, it wasn't hard for me to do. And that's the point. We're trying to show people that with this minimal setup, maybe this approach will work for you, maybe not. But you can experience Ben's software at least and what's brought him so much. And as all of this grew, right, Nancy and I realized we're not just building this for one person anymore. We were kind of creating a blueprint. Accidentally on purpose. So we decided to formalize the work and start the Narby Foundation. Now, the foundation, the goal is simple. We make systems like Ben's accessible for other families for free or very low cost. Teach people how to create or adapt their own tools using AI. So we're going to be doing lessons for that. Help people with affordable hardware like switches, adapters, and mounts. So people who might not otherwise have access can get access. We've partnered with other nonprofits who specialize in 3D printing. You'll see there's a couple up here. These are adaptive switches just like Ben's, and we're trying to build more of these kits so that way we can give them away to families. We want to reach people like Ben who need these custom solutions for very specific capabilities and interests, for their specific capabilities and interests. Now, I want to leave you with this. I started this with 0 programming experience, and I just had one simple thought is, can I give my brother a way to access shows and movies? AI removed the technical barrier for me, but it did not replace me. So people are scared of AI replacing them. No, it's not going to replace me in this. It amplified what I cared about. So if you're a therapist, a teacher, a caregiver, a developer, just someone who loves someone with complex needs, I hope you walk away thinking, if he can do that for Ben, what could I do for the person I care about? Thank you. So we should have a bit of time left. So Ben wants to demonstrate some of the stuff. We'll take a bunch of questions. We can play some games with Ben. Ben actually has some games you can play interactively with him just to see how it works. But that's kind of what we had planned today.